Let's talk a bit about arpeggios. They're so closely related to scales, and yet we seem to regard arpeggios as a giant leap above scale playing. I'm not sure that it needs to be, because so many of the things that we do in scale playing are directly transferable to arpeggios. For instance, when we were talking about scales, I mentioned that when two plays, the thumb goes under the hand. That is so important in arpeggio playing. When two plays, the thumb hides under the hand, and then we shift to. Now, there is an issue here about how you get to that thumb. And so many students play with a huge gesture of the arm. The arm is very, very much involved in arpeggio playing, more so than in scale playing. And in scale playing, the arm leads the hand up, but it's not so obvious as what the role of the arm in arpeggio playing. The arm actually throws my thumb over onto its new key. The role of the thumb is to get under the hand and ready, but the thumb does not touch its key, because that would result in a huge gesture of the arm, which is very, very inefficient. So the arm says, oh, I'll take you there. So the thumb goes under the hand. The arm says, I got you. Coming down, the role of the crossing finger, the third finger, is to lift and allow the arm to bring it onto its key. Lift, left hand. The finger's lifted, the arm takes me over. Thumb under the hand, the arm says, you want C? I'll take you there. Okay? That needs some work, but that's basically the routine. The thing that most students don't do, they do not realize how important it is for the thumb to remember that when two comes down, it goes under the hand. Under the hand, shift. Under the hand, shift. Okay? Really, really important. Okay? So that's true on all the arpeggios. And as I say, they're a little bit more difficult because the space that you're covering. Scales are easier because the fingers fall basically in order and in sequence on the keys, on adjacent keys. And here we're skipping keys and covering lots of ground. So the arm gets more involved with arpeggio playing. Let's talk a little bit about arpeggio fingerings. We don't worry too much about it. Maybe we don't worry enough about it, but there is a big deal, especially when we play arpeggios in different inversions. When do you use the fourth finger, and when do you play the third finger? Let's use the left hand as an example. I think it's very, very helpful to block a chord. All right? When I play C, E, G, C, I leave out one white key between the C and the E. Okay? The rule is if you leave out one key, you play 5-4. You play 4. If I'm playing, if I'm playing like an F major chord in second inversion, where I leave out two white keys, then I play 5-3. All right? I could move up a step and play a D major chord. And when I play a D major chord in root position, I realize that I'm leaving out two white keys between D and F sharp. That doesn't feel very comfortable to play that 5-4 as we did in C major. So the number of white keys that are left out between the playing fingers is a very important consideration. C major, C, E, 5-4. D major, D to F sharp leaves out two white keys, 5-3. E major, E to G sharp, I'm leaving out two white keys, it's 5-3. All right. In the right hand, when you're playing white key arpeggios in root position, there will always be a big interval between the third and the next tonic note. And so it's always 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's not a problem. Okay? So that's one thing about the fingerings. And that's very helpful to keep in mind. So the white keys help us, the number of white keys left out help us determine whether we're going to play 5-3 or 5-4. Okay? If we are playing C major in first inversion, again, it's very helpful to block the chord and you realize, or second inversion, that it's a different fingering than the root position. Root position was 1, 2, 3, 5. First inversion, 1, 2, 4, 5. Second inversion, 1, 2, 4. Again, it has to do with the number of white keys that are left out between those ending fingerings. Starting on a black key, well, there's a basic rule about arpeggio playing that involves black keys, and that is the thumb must always play a white key. Wasn't that simple? Now, there are only 2 chords that are all black keys, E flat minor, F sharp major. You know that, okay? So you play those, you finger those as if they were all white keys. E flat minor, 1, 2, 3. F sharp major, 1, 2, 3. Okay. But A flat major, the rule is you put the thumb on the white key. And B. Now, if there's a choice, you put your thumb on a white key and you reserve your 4th finger for a black key. That is very helpful for deciding the fingering of B flat major. My 4th finger has to go on the black key, and the thumb is on a white. Okay. Okay. So that's a little bit about fingerings. There are some arpeggio routines that I would strongly urge you to consider as you're working with your students. One of my favorite routines for practicing arpeggios, I ask myself, how many major and minor chords have the note C in them? Major and minor, C. Well, logic tells me that C could be the root of a major and a minor chord. C could be the third of a major and a minor chord. And C could be the 5th of a major and minor chord. Routine. Play C major, C minor, A flat major. So what you actually verbalize, and have your students verbalize, is say, C is the root of C major, C is the root of C minor, C is the third of A flat major, and C is the third of A minor. C is the 5th of F major, and C is the 5th of F minor. And go back to C, okay? We could do that on a black key. You can engage in enharmonic spellings, but you say E flat is the root of E flat major, E flat is the root of E flat minor. You could say D sharp is the third of B major, E flat is the third of C minor, E flat is the 5th of A flat major, and E flat is the 5th of A flat minor. Good routine. It's kind of a theory review for your students, and it covers a lot of arpeggios in different positions, different inversions. E is the root E major, E minor, E is the third of C major, E is the third of C sharp minor, E is the 5th of A major, A minor, and E major. So that's great. We can expand our work on major and minor arpeggios to include dominant sevenths. they're very under-practiced in our students' technical curriculum. But they occur in the repertoire frequently, a broken dominant seventh chord. I think it should be included in our warm-up and more advanced routines. So you know that a dominant seventh is based on a major chord with a minor third on top. Easy, okay? You know also that in the repertoire you can recognize a dominant seventh very, very quickly because in inversion, two of those notes are side by side. And the root of the chord is always the upper of those two notes side by side, okay? So that's one thing, the theory analysis of it, and then the fingering. How do you finger dominant sevenths? Obviously, you're going to use 4 fingers because there are four different notes. What do you do? If you start on a white key, the fingering's easy. Start 5 in the left, 1 in the right. Start on a white key, 1 in the right, 5 in the left. And you just take what comes, okay? But if you start on a black key, some of the things that we talked about before pertain. You find a white key for your thumb. I ended up there on the A flat dominant seventh chord. There are a bunch of black keys, but there's one white key. Guess what? The thumb goes on that white key. Okay? D flat 7 has 2 white keys. So what do I do with that? You find a place where the 4th finger plays on a black next to a thumb on a white. Black 4, thumb on white. So black 4 is followed by white thumb. Black 4, white thumb. So you get your 4th on a black and thumb on a white. Helpful routine, again, theory review. C is the root of C7. C is the third of the A flat 7. C is the 5th of the F7. And C is the 7 of the D7. Great exercise, great theory review. D flat is the root of the D flat 7. C sharp is the third of the A7. C sharp is the 5th of the F sharp 7. And C sharp is the 7th, or I guess we'd say D flat is the 7th of the E flat 7. Good exercise. And our students don't do enough of that, practicing in dominant sevenths, arpeggios.